It started with coronavirus. They trying to put vaccines inside us. Go to church. Went to blues. To die.
La guardia me pega. No sabes que todo conmigo, ¿qué? ¿Esto no sabes que todo conmigo? ¿Qué onda, qué?
Feel the wrath of you can't run and hide repent for the sins and fear. Finally run to the mountain. As the boy is coming closer, they shoot 60 rockets and they know that's
La
over.
guardia me pega.
As the
No
boy
sabes que
crashed
todo
the
conmigo, ¿qué?
earth looking
¿Esto no
evil.
sabes que todo conmigo?
Wiped out 3 million people.
Boquita, boquita.
The gas stations and cars exploded. The streets and roads are overflowed.
Ya debes, hombre.
It's connection. If you survive running in protection, gangs take over barbecue food. Like slugs returning into barbecue. The wrath God. Feel the wrath of God. You can't run and hide nowhere. Repent for the sins and fear.
second right, ¿qué pedo conmigo, cuidado? ¿Qué pedo conmigo?
¿Por qué está boquita? ¿Y tú tienes que hacer algo?
Oh, tío, no puedes comprar, tiene.
Ya debes, hombre.
Uy, la guardia me pela la verga, ¿no sabes qué? No sabes qué pedo conmigo, cuidado. No sabes qué pedo conmigo.
¿Qué onda? ¿Cuántas y por qué está boquita? ¿Y tú tienes que hacer algo?
Oh, tío, no puedes comprar, tiene.
Este huevón que ya debes, hombre.
No, otra vez. No vas a venir,
Pobrecitos Mixteco.
Pobrecito Mixteco. Pobrecito Mixteco.
cansado de que tu compañía de cable aumente el precio base de tu internet residencial? Cámbiate al internet residencial de T-Mobile. Son solo $50 al mes y con precio fijo te garantizamos que nunca vamos a subir el precio base de tu internet.
Alguna vez mi padre me preguntó, ¿qué es lo que te gusta de Ario de Rosales? Mi pueblo. Y sin pensarlo mucho le contesté que por alguna razón respirar el aire de mi pueblo me transportaba a mi niñez. Sé que el aire es otro, pero comprobé que la esencia de mi ser es la de un niño soñador, libre y feliz. Ahora me pregunto, ¿cuántos niños como yo estarán soñando en estos momentos por alcanzar sus metas? ¿Cuántos niños michoacanos están esperando una oportunidad? Ojalá que la encuentren y que Dios les ilumine siempre, como lo ha hecho conmigo.
¡Qué bonito Michoacán, sí señor! A ver, todo mundo arriba, 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 arriba.
esta canción. Nada para mí es más fácil que brindar mi amor. Por eso
So I have a really special item. Hey!
I just got the grimace.
There's a
Goo goo gaga.
hit the horn.
It's a video. So what do I tomorrow? Kiki. Chubby.
In the wake of a recent executive order, while America was distracted, the digital dollar Trojan. Thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. Life on Earth is full of cyclical variations. We have day and night, the changing of the seasons, and the ebb and flow of the tides. Many of these changes happen over relatively short periods and can be predicted with precision. But other cycles affect our planet over large intervals and can be trickier to forecast. In a previous video, I discussed the role Milankovitch cycles play in the occurrence of ice ages interrupted by warming intervals. But given the vast timeline, it's unlikely our own lives will be very affected by them. Yet, there is one climate cycle that definitely will affect you. The El Niño Southern Oscillation, better known as El Niño and La Niña. Well, El Niño and La Niña originate in the Pacific Ocean. Their impacts are felt nearly everywhere on Earth, and by some accounts, the strongest effects are getting more common. In the last few decades, some of the destructive consequences have included flooding, drought, famine, and mass die-offs of marine life. Indeed, a severe El Niño in 1998 caused an
Hello everyone, welcome back to Deciphering Weather. In today's video, we're going to discuss if a forecasted Super El Niño will bring on global record temperatures for 2023 or 2024. If you like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get all of my upcoming videos. So 2023 has started off on a record-setting pace so far this year across North America. The winter months were well above average for the eastern half of the country as well as into Canada as well. And it's not just in North America but in Europe as well. They've seen their warmest winter on record so far. And if you look on the globe, it's not just North America or Europe, but you can also see in Siberia and China, as well as in Brazil, some of the warmest seasons to start in 2023. And that's continued into the spring, as we've seen an early summer across much of the eastern half of the country. So the question is, are we gonna set a new record this year or in 2024? The 10 hottest years so far on record have come since we've had our last El Nino in 2016, and also statistically tied in 2020, as well, even though we saw a La Nina year that year. Now, everyone knows we've seen global temperatures increasing since the start of the Industrial Revolution. This is not rocket science. We've known this problem for a while now. It's
right now, a former bank teller on the run, accused of stealing all of an elderly woman's money. The employee allegedly drained the woman's account to less than $2 and took almost $200,000. ABC 13's Giovanni Ligi is live in the newsroom for us tonight, breaking down those court documents. Giovanni?
Well, Erica, the bank confirms that the employee is no longer with them and that they are working and cooperating with law enforcement. But those court documents lay out how this 86-year-old was arguably blindsided by somebody she thought she could trust. Houston police are on the search for 29-year-old Cecilia Brown. She's a former bank teller here at Frost Bank in Southeast Houston and is now accused of stealing almost $140,000. Court documents lay out her elaborate scheme that spanned for months. Those documents show she built a relationship with an 86-year-old woman who told police she considered Brown like one of her own, a daughter. This year, between February and June, Brown withdrew almost 140 grand. And here's how her former supervisor at the bank says she did it. Brown would allegedly go into the vault room and take stacks of cash. They accuse her of then hiding it under papers when no one was looking. She would then walk back to the teller counter and put it underneath. They say she would then walk out of the bank with the cash stuffed inside of boxes. Sometimes tens of thousands of dollars.
Dozens of high school kids in Layton. It's lifting it up enough so that they could be pulled to safety.
Girls, boys, it didn't matter. They just all took a spot in the car and lifted it.
Surveillance video showing students coming to the rescue at Layton Christian Academy, where a mom and her child were trapped
underneath a car that just ran over them. Chris Crowder is the head of the school.
I didn't really know what was going on. I looked across the parking lot and noticed the car, and they were screaming. And so I ran over there and I looked under the car and seen mom and child underneath the car pinned.
The mom and her 2-year-old son and 3-year-old daughter were hit and run over.
Theo's nose was cause for alarm, so Dad brought Puffs Plus lotion to save it from harm. Puffs has 50% more lotion and brings soothing relief. Don't get burned by winter nose. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed. America's #1 lotion tissue. Oh, Reese's trees, oh, Reese's trees, there's chocolate on your branches and peanut.
Where we discovered through the help of Nicolaus Copernicus mathematical predictions by Johannes. Keeping time is probably more complicated than you might have thought. Extra days in our year. A month is meant to match up with an orbit of the moon around the Earth. The words month and moon being closely connected. But the moon takes roughly 28 days to orbit Earth once. And our calendars don't reflect that. And in a similar fashion to our years not being exact, our days aren't exactly 24 hours either. A sidereal day on Earth, or in other words, Earth's rotation of 360 degrees relative to fixed stars in the sky, is roughly 23 hours and 56 minutes. So where do those 4 minutes go every day? Well, the answer is that we don't actually use a sidereal day to measure our time. We use a solar day, or the point where the sun goes full circle in our sky and reaches the same point it was the previous day. How is this different from a sidereal day? Well, we use a solar day because the Earth isn't stationary, and as it orbits, it moves slightly forward compared to the previous day, changing the angles relative to the sun. It needs those extra 4 minutes to have the sun lined up exactly overhead again each day, which is what gives us our exact 24-hour days. Although It gets even more complicated than that if you really want to delve into this, as due to the Earth's slightly elliptical orbit and axial tilt, true solar days can vary by up to 30 seconds throughout the year. In order to come to balance this, we use the mean solar days, which averages all these variations. Space is a desolate void. A vacuum where no sound can travel. So you might think that space is extremely quiet. You would be right, but only because you don't have the capability to hear anything with your natural ears. Turn your ears into radio wave receivers, and suddenly space is a constant symphony of strange and interesting sounds. I'm Alex McColgan, and you're watching Astron. And together we will find out what the sources of these radio waves are, and what they sound like. You don't have to go too high above Earth to already be in space. Only 160 kilometers up, and sound can't be heard anymore because there aren't enough particles for sound waves to travel. But even here in space, there are plenty of other waves. As more countries and companies set their sights on space, it may make you wonder, what's the end goal? Do we simply want to be a spacefaring species? Exploring the solar system for the betterment of humanity? Thanks to Magellan TV for sponsoring today's video. Since late December, the Hunga Tonga Hunga Haipai volcano has seen a lot of activity in a series of pretty big eruptions. On the 14th of January, it was spotted erupting again by local scientists. This seemingly huge eruption shot ash 20 kilometers into the atmosphere, creating a pillar which stretched high above their view. Thanks to Mel Science for sponsoring today's video. In recent years, researchers have documented a number of weird atmospheric phenomena on Earth that were previously unproven or even unknown. There are transient luminous events like red sprites, blue jets, gigantic jets, and elves. There are noctilucent clouds, and rarely seen variants of familiar phenomena like green lightning and red auroras. A phenomenon scientifically. So, with that in mind, let's look at a few of the alleged ball lightning encounters I find most intriguing. In 1739, the Catherine and Mary were sailing down the Gulf Coast of Florida when it ran into a deadly thunderstorm. According to an eyewitness, a large ball of fire fell from the element and split our mast in 10,000 pieces, killed one man, another had his hand carried off, and had it not been for the violent rains, our sails would have been a blast of fire. That's quite a story, but it gets few telescopes today can compete with the sheer productive output of its predecessor, the VLT. The number of scientific papers this telescope contributes to averages out at more than one a day. Nearly 600 in 2019, dwarfing the competition from all other land-based telescopes. And even once newer, larger telescopes with their 30-meter plus mirrors start to come online, the VLT will still have its niche, thanks to a little trick up its sleeve. Its 8 telescopes can combine into a virtual mirror with an effective diameter of 200 meters, giving it punching power. The Earth is 4.54 billion years old, plus or minus 50 million years. That's a lot of birthdays. In that time, Earth has undergone some pretty incredible changes. In a recent episode, we covered 4.2 billion years of that history, which saw the Earth transform from a molten ball of lava to a pale orange wasteland, to a giant snowball, to a flourishing tropical world. In the nuclear weapons the superpowers of the world hold on standby today. But the second was the development of the more commercial use of space. When Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite, was launched in 1957, humanity began to realize that space could be used for more than just a place to fire weapons from. Since then, we have launched over 8,000 satellites into orbit around Earth. They contribute hugely to modern society. Through satellite guidance, our phones can know where we are currently and can guide us to any destination by the shortest route. We can communicate in an instant with people on the other side of the world. With this, economies flourished and nations began to realize how devastating it would be if we ever lost them unexpectedly. And so, a new front opened up in space conflict, the Satellite War. Nations began trying to figure out how to protect their own satellites while inhibiting the satellites of others should the need ever arise. Different nations took different approaches to this. The Soviet Union in the early 1960s sought to protect their own space interests while threatening others by launching the secretive Almaz space station. This manned space station was unlike any other in history that we know of, as it came with a built-in cannon attached to its front forward belly, capable of firing thousands of rounds a minute. It wasn't perfect. Recoil on such a powerful weapon was a big issue for the whole space station, and it had to be aimed manually by turning the entire space station to It's getting hot outside. Nowadays, it's difficult to turn on the news without hearing someone
Bueno, este fin de semana Nalgo nos trajo excelentes noticias. Le vamos a llamar a nuestros clientes con todos estas buenas noticias de los resultados. Así que como pueden ver, un fin de semana muy exitoso para nosotros con todos estos resultados. Bueno, este fin de semana Nalgo nos trajo excelente.
Por este papel Por este papel que deja de hablar tu familia. Por este papel pierdes amigos. Por este papel pierdes amigos. Por este papel los matrimonios terminan. Por este papel las personas cambian. Por este papel. Por este
Whoa, the new iPhone 15 with that amazing camera. Wish my family had them. You're an action star. Hey, action! Join T-Mobile.
This holiday at T-Mobile, get 4 new iPhone 15s on us and 4 lines of unlimited for $25 a line.
And only on 13, 2 women are behind bars accused of stealing more than $50,000 worth of items from a woman's house during her mother's funeral.
Yeah, we've aired these women's faces back in 2020 because they were accused of doing the very same thing then.
Reporter Micah Hatfield joins us here in studio with details of their latest case. Micah.
Well, the victim in the case told me that she really hasn't been able to mourn her mother's death like she would like to because she's been rekeying her home.
It started with coronavirus. They trying to put vaccines inside us. We locked in the house, can't go to work. They backslide on God and won't go to church. That made God mad, he don't like to lose. They said an asteroid's coming on the news. In 3 days, world leaders come together. They trying to keep us calm and stop the weather. The doomsday preachers are spreading panic. There's no exploded. The streets and the homes are overfloated. There's no lights and phone connection. Only if you survive and they need protection. Gangs taking over, robbing for food. Blast slugs, we turn them into barbecue. The